Hey there everyone, Mazarok here, and today I want to talk about the Crucible, Destiny 2's PvP system. And boy, do I suck at it. At least I did. I have been getting a lot better, and that is through a lot of things that I learned about the game by playing it. Because Destiny 2's PvP system is unlike any other PvP shooter system I've ever played. It is a lot of fun. There are some similarities, but there's a lot of differences as well. So I want to kind of go over a few things with you that I've been learning and practicing along the way that has really helped me to improve my game in the last week. I started the game, my first night of PvP, really giving it a shot with a 0.35 KDR, kill death ratio. Yeah, which is atrocious, by the way. It's terrible. But now, with a couple of more days of play, I've brought that average up to 0.85. Now, that is the average including the old 0.35. And I've been doing that because most of the games that I've been going into, which we've now been winning, I'd say about 60 to 60, a good 2/3. I'm winning every 2 out of 3 games now. But my KDR is also averaging between 1.2 to 2.5 every game now, which is really good to where I was in comparison with how bad I was at the start. There are much better players than me with much better KDRs, much better win ratios, just being much better at the game. But this is from a new person perspective, getting into it and going from there. Now, I played Destiny PvP on PS3 back when the game came out. When PS4 launched, I kind of lost interest in Destiny, started doing my own things, and now I'm coming back to Destiny 2, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I loved the first Destiny. It was so good. And now I'm starting to really enjoy the Crucible again. I'm starting to enjoy Control again. Here's some of the things that I remembered, and here's some of the things that I have now been figuring out. Tip number 1 that you should just know. There's no ranking system. So, if you enter a game, and, you move 10 feet and you're dead, you spawn, you move 25 feet and you're dead, there is a chance that you're playing against a fire team that just might be Olympic level caliber players. And there's nothing you can do about it because there is literally no ranking system. You're not being paired with people of the same level as you. You might be put up against some of the best players in the world, and that's just how that game is going to go. So don't feel bad if in some games you enter and you're just getting whomped super fast. That's going to happen as you start just getting matched up with people that are incredibly much better than you because they have the training, the time, and the experience. Some of the things that people complain about are latency issues, lag advantage, and things like that, which I have found in some games to be very true. Apparently this is a big North American problem. Or I can't say big. It's a North American problem. If you're paired with a lot of people from Oceanic and EU or whatever, or fire teams from that region, where your shots won't register. I've definitely been in scenarios where I've shot one guy in the head 4 times. I shot him. I see the bullets hitting that one point, and I get sniped all of a sudden by that guy, but then my bullets register all in the span of 1.5 seconds, and we both kill each other because all my bullets registered the shots later than he had the time to shoot me. Those are some of the weird latency issues that happen. Now, I can't say this happens every game because it doesn't, but it is frequent enough where I do notice it at times where I'm like, okay, I'm in some sort of weird lobby. I'm not in Kansas anymore type of deal. So those are things that can happen. That is a documented thing that Destiny 2 players have been talking about for a very, very long time. And if you spoke to anybody that has done any Destiny 2 or even Destiny PvP, that has always been one sort of issue, and I think it kind of stems from worldwide lobbies and things like that. It's kind of a little weird, but just know that if that's the case, it might not be your game, it might not be the internet, and it might not just be cheaters. Could be cheaters, could be hackers, but could also just literally be these weird latency issues, and it happens. But everything happens so fast in the Crucible, I've noticed. I have definitely been in scenarios where I've been weakened, turning around a corner, somebody else, an enemy's been weakened, and we literally go and we punch each other in the face and simultaneously both die from each other's punches to the face. That's gonna happen. It's weird. It's a fast-paced game because Destiny plays like Destiny. I heard that in a podcast or something like that. And it really is true. And the class abilities make a lot of difference. And one thing I was doing early on, which was really terrible, was I was just using my grenades, my melee. I was using that just willy-nilly and just not caring about when or what and just like, oh, I have it, let's use it. But learning when to use your class abilities, maybe you're making a push for a zone, maybe you're defending a zone and you know that things are coming and like, okay, they're coming, let's get behind here, pop a super, and just whomp them as they start coming down. Boom, done. But don't just waste your supers. Don't just waste your grenades or your class ability, your healing rift, your barricade. The dodge is a little bit more workable with the hunter, but yeah. So especially the PvP system right now is very class centric and class ability centric at the moment. That's kind of the meta words going on. So learn when's the best time to use those abilities. And it's going to be different for everybody on different maps and kind of what you like to do. Because if you're an upfront melee shotgun type of person, then obviously you're going to use your abilities different than someone who stay back and snipe and try and get people at range. Those are two very different play styles that are going to demand two completely different types of play. So, obviously there. Lastly, this is one. Find a loadout with your guns that you really enjoy and then get good at. If you're having some success with something, keep practicing with it. But at the same time, don't just be like, I'm going to try this gun for a match and, oh, it didn't work out that well, I give up. I used Thorn for a couple of matches before I really found my groove with it. But now, there's certain ones where I don't like Thorn because there's not enough range on it, and I need something with a little bit more range, so I'll swap to kind of a pulse rifle primary and move from there. But I've practiced with these for enough times that I am starting to get good at kills, getting good at aiming, getting good with the loadouts. Another one was I had a lot of trouble finding a good secondary, a good special that I really, really enjoyed, and now I've ended up with a grenade launcher that is right up my alley, and now that I've been playing with it, I probably played a good 10 to 15 games with it. I'm starting to get pretty good at knowing where people are going to come out of certain corners and just firing the grenade launcher and moving it or shooting it around corners. Like, I know somebody's sniping there, boom, shoot around the corner, automatic one-shot kill. I've noticed that a lot, or I've noticed the big damage go off where I can slide in and do a one-shot with my pistol or whatever I'm using for a primary, and it's been a lot of fun. But the first few games that I did with that the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher, I was terrible. Oh god, I was terrible at it. Like, I just could not get it right. Like, I was just firing blindly, I was missing everything and things like that. But I was noticing some damage going off, which means that my aim wasn't so terrible that this was not happening. But now I'm learning the proper way to kind of just angle it up for certain areas where I can just fire it and hit a sniping cove and, one-shot someone or things like that. So, again, I'm not the best player in the world, but I am getting better. And I'm the type of person that enjoys a challenge. Me seeing a KDR of 0.35 is not a I should quit, is I need to get good. I need to learn how to play this. And one thing that I've learned is the left side advantage. So if you're peeking around a corner in Destiny, you technically want to peek out of the left side wall, not the right, because there's a certain way the camera works with the guns, where if you peek out the right, much more of your body is showing than if you peek out the left. So you get a better angle of protection and view if you come out of the left. Weird little things like that that you may not have known about because you're like, well, I'm behind this wall coming out of the right. Why, how am I getting sniped? It's that left side little advantage. And it's weird little things like that. And lastly, maps. Whenever you get onto a new map that you've never played before, I'm like, alright, I'm going to be bad. My goodness, I'm going to be bad. I don't know where the spawn points are. I don't know where the flags are. I don't know where the killing lanes are. I don't know where anything is. Play a map 4, 5, 6 times before you can say, alright, I'm really comfortable here. And you're going to notice that, like, on your 5th or 6th playthrough of a certain map, you're going to start getting into, like, these little default patterns where you're like, okay, I got this. I know where this is. I know where I gotta go here and here and here to get some kills. I know exactly what I gotta do to get here to here quick, where I'm gonna get the least amount of resistance, or maybe you want to find the most amount of resistance and mow things down with a machine gun, grenade launcher, or whatever you want. Maybe you got a super coming up and you're like, this is where everyone's going to go. I'm going to line up big time right here. You're going to learn these things as you play the maps, and maps are super important and integral to how Destiny PvP works. Now, this is, of course, true for all shooter PvP, but it is a little bit more important with Destiny 2 because of how the spawns work, how split spawns can happen, and class abilities. And like I just said, one of the examples was if you need to get somewhere with the least amount of resistance, or where you know you're going to get the most amount of resistance, is all based on whether or not you have a super. And if you have a super, you probably want to go the way of most resistance because you want to mow some people down. But if you've popped your super and you've got no resistance and there's nobody to kill, you've wasted a super, which are very easy kills. So, see? So map knowledge is super important. So these are the things that I've been keeping in mind to get better. I've been practicing. Like I said, now in most of my games I'm going in, I'm getting a KDR of about 1.2 to 2.5. Now, that does not mean I'm a good player. We are winning, and that is important. 2 out of 3 games is a pretty good ratio for how things can work. There's no ranking. So, I mean, some games I get whomped and I'm just like, what? And then you kind of look back and you're like, oh, I always saw like 3 teams together. Chances are there were 2 fire teams of 3 that were on comms, communicating, working together. And like, that is a very difficult thing to be against with 5 other randos that aren't communicating. Practice, get better, and I promise you, you're going to have a lot of fun in the Crucible. Well, I'm going to make more videos on this as I'm learning and going on. Like I was saying, KDR does not make you a good player. Having a high KDR does not mean you are a good PvPer. It just means that you are winning more encounters than you're losing. But if you're never focusing on any objectives and you never get any of the zones and you're just killing things, are you really helping your team? There is a difference between being a good Slayer and being a good PvP Crucible player. The two aren't mutually exclusive, and they aren't mutually inclusive. You can be a great Slayer and a bad PvPer. You can be a great Slayer and a great PvPer at the same time. And neither one's bad. I mean, play the game however you want to play it. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm actually killing more than I'm being killed, and that's the first step into really being a great player. So I am streaming on Twitch every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday right now. I am thinking about adding a Tuesday date. I don't know when I'm going to be peppering Destiny in there, but I promise I will. Link down in the description down below. I hope you guys are having a great day, enjoying your summer, and thank you very much for all the support.